Hi everyone! Today we are going to talk about the present perfect. We are going to examine its structure, some of the basic uses. We're going to take into consideration some examples, and then we are going to talk about the contrast with the past simple, which is another tense that can sometimes create confusion, okay? Because we sometimes are not really sure whether to use the present perfect or the past simple. So I'll try to make it, to make this decision easier to make. So first of all, how do we form the present perfect? We need the present simple of the verb to have, which is our auxiliary. For example, I have, plus the past participle of the main verb. Now, the main verb is the one that actually describes the action that is going on, okay? For example, visited New York recently. And the whole sentence would be, I have visited New York recently. So the present perfect has two parts, as we've just said. The first one is the present simple of the verb to have, so namely the auxiliary. And the second part is the past participle of the main verb. In this case, visited New York. Okay, now let's take a closer look at some keywords. So basically some words that usually accompany the present perfect that can help us decide when to use it. So first of all, we have expressions of time linked to the present, such as recently, today, this morning, this week, this month, in the last few days, and so far. And here are a couple of examples. I've eaten pizza 3 times this week. Okay, and probably I'm still in the week. Okay, the week is not over yet, and I'm already talking about how many times I've eaten pizza. And well, 3 times is quite a lot. I certainly eat pizza. And I worked really hard this morning. Okay, the morning is not finished yet. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. I started working hard in at the beginning of the morning probably, and I'm still working very hard. Okay, so that's why I'm using the present perfect for an action that started in the past but is still going on. Okay, it's not finished yet. But pay attention, because I might say I worked really hard this morning. Okay, because maybe now it's afternoon, so I'm thinking about this morning, which is over, and I'm saying, well, I really worked hard this morning. So I'm talking about an action that started and finished in the past, even though it's a close past, but it's still a past. Okay, so that's why I'm using a past simple in this case. Then other keywords, in this case adverbs, such as ever and never, just, already, yet, and still. So first of all, ever and never, they basically have the same meaning, but we use ever in questions and never in positive sentences, but with a negative meaning. So let's take a look at the examples. Have you ever eaten an insect? Okay, so I'm asking whether you've ever had this beautiful experience of eating an insect. And I'm using ever, okay, because it's a question, and I'm using the present perfect because I'm asking about general experiences in somebody's life. Okay, have you ever eaten an insect? And then the answer is not related to the question in this case, but I could say Kim has never been to Italy. Okay, in this case, as you can see, we have a third person singular, Kim. So have becomes has, of course. And then we have never. As you can see, never has a negative meaning. So it means that this person has not been to Italy in her life. Okay, but the verb itself is positive. Okay, but we have never, that means it's the opposite of always, right? Okay, so it gives a negative meaning to the sentence, even though the verb itself is positive. And then we have the other adverbs. First one says, could I speak to Jane, please? I'm afraid she has just left. Okay, she has just left. And the other example goes, do you want something to eat? No thanks, I've already eaten. So both these adverbs, just and already, are positioned between the auxiliary and the main verb, has just left, have already eaten, and they have this meaning. So just would be translated in Italian as appena, okay? While already would be a già, okay? Then you have other adverbs which have kind of a similar meaning, but a different position in the sentence. First of all, you have yet. Yet goes at the end of the sentence, so it's quite easy to, to put inside of the sentence. The first example says, have you had lunch yet? It's the same as if I had said, have you already had lunch? It's exactly the same, okay, same meaning. And the answer goes, I haven't finished, again, not related to the question, but I haven't finished this work yet, okay? And then you have still, I still haven't finished this work, because yet in that case and still have the same meaning, okay? So yet could mean già, just like already in the question, and ancora in the negative sentence, just like still, okay? So according to the tone, of the sentence, whether it's a question or an affirmative, a negative, you decide the meaning of yet, but the position is always the same at the end of the sentence. And then you have still, that again goes in negative sentences, but after the subject. I still haven't finished this work. And I always quote, whenever I talk about still, the U2's song, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Probably you're familiar with this song yourself. Okay, other keywords might be for and since. So we use these two words to talk about something that is called a duration form. Let's examine a couple of examples. I've lived in London for 3 years, okay, and I'm still living in London. So my action of living in London started 3 years ago and continues, okay, because the present perfect links us to the present. So if I had to draw this action, I would choose a kind of a bracket, or this kind of a curved line to describe it, because I'm talking about a period of time when I use for, okay? For 3 years, that would be a period of time. The opposite is since. I can say the same thing, but I'm not emphasizing the period of time, but a point in time in which the action began. So I've worked for this company since I was 20. Okay, I'm still working for the same company, so I'm still talking about an action that started in the past and continues till now. But this time, I'm not emphasizing the period of time I've been working in this company, but the moment in which I started, okay, which is when I was 20. So I've worked for this company since I was 20. Or I could say, I've worked for this company since 2010 or 2010, and I'm still talking about a point in time in the past in which the action began. Okay, so again, if I had to draw these two actions, we would have again this kind of curved line, but with a cross, where the action starts. So the action started there, where the cross is, and continues till now. Okay, but pay attention, because if I use the past simple, I'm saying another thing. Okay, if I said I lived in London for 3 years, I'm still talking about a period of time, but my action is finished. Okay, so I started living and I finished living in London in the past. That lasted 3 years, but it's still in the past. So I don't live in London anymore. Okay? So if I had to draw it, again, I would have a cross where the action started. Then you have these parentheses, this bracket. Another cross, that would be the end of my action, the end of my living in London. So that parenthesis of London would last 3 years. And then you'll have another parenthesis connecting you to now. Okay, so I can clearly see that the action started and finished in the past. Okay. Now, other keywords, especially used in questions, but not only. So you have how long and how many times, or to talk about how many times I've done something in general. For example, London has hosted the Olympic Games twice. So as you can see, I'm mentioning how many times the Olympic Games have been hosted in London. It's not a question, but still I'm using the present perfect because I'm talking about how many times. The second one is a question. It says, how many times have you seen this film? Again, I'm using the present perfect. And finally, it's the first time I've ever eaten an octopus. Okay. Or I could say, how long have you waited for me? Now, in which cases, when do I use the present perfect? We've examined some keywords, but for which reasons might I want to use the present perfect? Let's take a look at them. First of all, to talk about an action in the past without saying exactly when it happened. When I say exactly when something happened in the past, I use the past simple. For example, I've seen this film before. Okay, I'm not mentioning when. I'm just saying that I've seen this film in my life. Okay, I'm not emphasizing when I saw the film. But if I remember precisely when I saw the film, okay, well, and I can put this in the past, then I use the past simple and I say, I saw this film 2 weeks ago. Okay. Another example would be, another case would be to talk about our experiences in general. It's similar to the other one, but it's about our life experiences. So usually you don't say exactly when these happened, but we are just talking in general. For example, I've sailed across the Atlantic and I've seen gorillas in Africa. Again, I'm not mentioning when these situations happened, but I'm just talking in general about my life experiences. Or to talk about recent actions or action linked to the present, or actions that have a result or a consequence on the present time. For example, Anne has lost her car keys. So this means that the action, is a punctual action. So the action happened in the past, of course. But right now, the result is that she cannot find her keys anymore. Okay. So that's why I'm using a present perfect, because we have a direct consequence or result in the present, even though the action happened in the past. Or Anne has broken her arm. Now, it's the same person who's really unlucky, even though she has lost an E together with her car keys. Anyway, she's broken an arm. Again, the action of breaking the arm, of course, happened in the past. But the result now is that her arm is broken. But if I say James broke his arm last year, now I'm definitely saying that the action happened in the past, and that also, the recovery happened in the past, because now James's arm is not broken anymore. Okay, it's okay. And then Bill has made the salad, and the salad is ready now. Again, another result, another link to the present. If I talked about recent action, I would use probably just again. So I would say, Elena has just left home. Okay, she's just gone somewhere. Okay, so the action happened in a very recent past, and I'm emphasizing the fact that it was very recent by using just. Again, talking about the salad, Kate made salad yesterday. Again, she made the salad yesterday. The action started and finished in the past. I'm saying exactly when this happened, and the salad is probably finished. And that was it. I hope it was clear. Bye bye.